Welcome back to Sports Desk. I'm Paul the Ball, and hey, pretty excited evening. We first got the big heavy guys all the way, and we just had a question online. I want to answer that very quickly, and thank you for chatting with us. We've been chatting online, by the way, as we've been going on, and the question online was, when does the high school tournament start? Well, the guys were saying sometime in March, April. I answered it online as well, so a little bit later on in the year, but they've guaranteed that there will be a school program on. So that will be around. I see in the background Ronan there. That'll be, oh no, it isn't Ronan. Is it April? Is the tournament on? I'm asking my producer. Is it? Yeah, in here locally. March. So from March the school program will be on, and they've guaranteed. Now I need to let you know that the main man is here, so I'm going to pass the ball over to him. Carl Scatliff. Good evening, Mr. Scatliff.
Good evening, my brother, and welcome listeners. Welcome to the show, Sports Desk. I'm glad to have joined you guys. I know Paul is getting ready to leave, so I'm going to have to take over. So.
We're going to rub it in. And your guest?
Oh,
we were getting
It's all right.
Who is this guy here with us?
Our guest tonight, Paul, is Chris Giossi.
Chris Giossi. Everybody knows Chris.
I don't know.
Everybody introduce him.
Is there a movie about it? I don't even have television. So
everybody knows Chris. There you go.
I was really excited. Thank you. I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in to you guys, JTV, and that you've having me here on the show. I came in and listened to the rugby guys talk, and just because like I said, I don't have a television, so I wanted to see how is this going to go. Carl invited me on here and said, just bring some information, man.
I thought you'd be nosy or something like that.
Yeah, no, well, as well. I mean, the rugby guys are doing a great effort, and I've seen Solo everywhere, and I'm all over the place, and I see him all over the place. So he's really putting in a big, huge effort, and it's great to see it happening right now.
Okay, before let me just let you know what's happening here. I've got you online, JTV Live, jtvlive.net. If you log in there and you go into the last, it says live video. You click on live video. You can chat with me live online as we go. Questions you want to ask Chris, you can type them in line and talk to us. You can also give us a text, and the text is on there. It's digital 300-1950, or give us a call 300-1949. We're live, so stick and stay with us, and let's talk cycling. Back over to you, Doug.
Yes, Chris. Like I said, glad to have you here. I know you've been doing a lot in cycling. I've seen you out there on the road. We've been through this before when you got started. I know you needed assistance, so I was out to help you, and I've seen that you've grown from strength to strength now. So tell us what's going on in cycling. Bsafe.
Yeah, Bsafe. Well, I mean, there's a lot of different aspects of cycling. As you know, you've been involved for a number of years, way back when I think we even did a little relay, if I remember. But Bsafe, which is really what I'm mostly known for, the yellow and black buses going around. Looks like a B, the play on words, perhaps. It's a bicycle safety awareness for everyone. Bsafe, and what that is doing is targeting 8 to 10-year-old children. It's a free program that I go into the public schools and target class 3 students. And as you mentioned, there has been a bit of a struggle. I started in October 2008. Things were going really well, and that first year you were very helpful with the busing, and then I grew from strength to strength. World economy went a little sideways, and all of us were all involved in different sports, the rugby guys as well. We all came up against the wall for funding and sponsorship and support. That kind of trickled up, dried up. The private support I've had over the years has always been there, but there was a fundamental amount that I needed to get to continue on the way I had been. So I've stepped back a bit. I did this 24-hour effort that JTV actually reported on, and that was to raise funds to continue the program. I have been successful enough with the public learned about my plight. I've received additional support. There's a private donor as well that will enable me to continue with the program the way I set it up, and until the new school year starts.
I want to steal a question before Carl takes over here. My first and last. I'm going to let. I don't. Carl. He's going to be killing me after.
Getting a word in.
Chris, I just got to know. 24 hours on a bike. Come on, you just sort of pass it like having a cup of tea, as the English would say, or a glass of water, as you say in the Caribbean. Right. Come on, 24 hours on a bike. Tell us what that was like, man.
Well, it's all depends what you do. You guys do what you do to make a living. I have a lot of experience riding, and I relied a lot on muscle memory. It was a lot harder than I wanted it to be because of those additional lights. Now, but having said that, it was supposed to capture people's imagination. 24 hours on a bike, you just don't do that. However, my ego and my muscle memory and all those elements, I knew I could do it. Okay. But it was really close with those extra lights. Was the people that helped me achieve that distance, because I did it all, but I had people in front of me breaking the wind, enabling me to conserve energy. I wasn't a very pleasant person.
Is it a world record?
No.
Guinness Book of
I want to question. I wanted to ask you. I know.
It's a record for the BVI. Yeah.
I know my buddy normally teaches spin class of cycling.
Yeah.
And I've tried it.
Who's that?
My buddy, my co-host.
You're kind of.
I've tried it a couple of times, and I mean,
it's a little different.
24 hours on a seat, and me being a guy, you know.
Well, let's dispel that element. I wouldn't have done it if I had problems sitting on a seat. I actually, this is more uncomfortable than my bike seat for me.
Kidding me.
But my bike seat, you take a look at it, it's not. It's just what again, it's the habit and what you're used to. There's no way to describe it, but I have 33 years on a racing bike, and even though I'm not
so Paul, in shape.
I wasn't a racing bike. I know. We're sorry for people paying certain areas.
I had to have a race class because I told you, man, those seats were getting to me.
But in spinning, you can't really stand up. If you had been
yes, you can.
Well, let me correct that. You have to and you can, but there are a lot of. It's really like a running shoe versus a work boot, a road bike. I would have a hard time doing 24 hours on a mountain bike, even though you can have two shocks, front and rear, and it could be conceived of as a lot easier. The whole thing is, I'm great you guys were, admiring of that. That did get a lot of people thinking about what I was trying to do. As much as I gained that attention, it was really to say, this is what I've been trying to do with the kids. I now have raised enough funds to continue through this year and get in position for the next year, and then I hope the government has a little chance to sit back and figure out what they can do for all the things. I mean, I don't want to take away from any of these sports, but I also want to.
Let me ask you, Paul. Now, tell us really, what do you do with the kids?
Okay, it's pretty straightforward. I try and get the kids aware of their spatial awareness while riding a bike, teach them some just fundamental laws. I start out the course where I hold up a rock and I say, what's this rock going to do? They all know it's going to hit the ground. I say, okay, all my rules are basically just like gravity. They're not laws, they are just what you have to do to get through the corner safely. Correct. And be aware that if you can't see around the corner, do you just go straight through it without thinking that a car is going to be coming one way or the other? It's just awareness, building awareness of their environment. I do try and encourage them to obey the laws of the road, but at 8 and 10 years old, they should be accountable for that, but they do have trouble identifying the seriousness of, it's like, why is there a stop sign here? And I put stop signs down on the road, get them aware that if they go through that stop sign, and I get them riding around and mixing up, and you can come down. It's really quite interesting, because they will just assume that you're going to stop.
Right.
And they don't. This child won't stop, and this one doesn't stop. So what happens? Go, okay, so now, do you think your parents are paying attention when they're driving? They are. Sometimes, though, people make mistakes.
Sure. So
get that awareness and try and avoid trouble.
Okay, guys, if you're watching us, we're live. Paul, give us the numbers.
Yeah, it's 300-1949. Of course, it's Digicel. We want to thank them. And 300-1950 if you want to send a text. Or did I get it? Yeah, I got it right. So that's 1949 300 if you want to give us a call, or 300-1950. Send a text also. jtvlive.net. We are on the wide world web. And
got it right this time.
Yeah, got it. I'm hoping so. And you can sort of join in the chat. We're talking to Chris Giossi here. Quite an amazing guy. 24 hours on a bike. I mean, I can't wait to hear about what he does, all the stuff he's doing with kids, and so it's somewhat triathlon going on, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear about it.
Wearing a lot of different hats, but yeah. So the Bsafe program I've just started with Althea Scatliff again, and that school is kind of my adopted school because it's the biggest, and they sometimes get forgotten by some of the other sponsors that have adopted the smaller schools, because it is easier to deal with 40 or 100 kids versus the 500 or 600.
How many kids has passed through your program?
In the last 3.5 years, over 1,000 kids have dealt with, and basically, it's a lot of work. But it's a lot of fun.
And what about help? Is it
I don't want to suck anybody into that hole. I do when I do like the events on the weekends, I do prevail upon people to help volunteer for like my Learn to Ride clinics, or some of which like JDV covered the Busby race series. That's a lot of work in itself.
You do have racing series?
I had to back off on that because at this point I'm kind of just operating on survival. There's a lot of like I said, there's a worldwide economic challenges. I know what is very popular with the fundamental program, and it's exposing kids to cycling. The kids that really want to race, there are a lot of avenues. I do try and nurture that, like to try and direct them towards the BVI Cycling Federation or the BVI Mountain Bike Club. One of my sponsors has taken it upon themselves to help me get kids to the mountain bike club races where the club has to function with certain budgets.
Right.
They can't afford to give away ferry trips or whatever, so PricewaterhouseCoopers has said, let us try and get the kids there. So they're right now I'm just trying to be a facilitator for all sports. So I've actually got Ronan's card, and I see Solo everywhere.
I guess
so
you're going to be helping out.
why not? That's why I go to track and field too.
I see this guy on the road in the morning time. I see him in the afternoon time. He's running in the morning and he's riding in the afternoon. I'm like, what is he not going to do?
What more do you want, right?
I'll tell you what, I run the wrong direction with the ball. American football.
Okay.
The ball ran towards my own goal. So.
Just we had online good evening to Mr. Carlos Catley from a lady called Ladybird. So people are looking at you and watching you online.
Good evening to my World Wide Web listeners. It's glad to have you check in with us.
Could be anywhere.
Yes. And we're here live streaming, yes.
And remember the text, 300-1950 for the text, or you can call us 300-1949. We are live here with Chris Giossi.
Now, Chris, I know I see you have some other stuff that's going on with you.
To keep track.
Go ahead, let us know what's going on.
Well, the most exciting thing right now is I'm going to try and use the infrastructure that I have with Bsafe to try and help the BVI Triathlon Federation get some kids involved in youth triathlons. So the idea will be to make them very short and fun. The first event's going to be on the 25th of February in Nanny Key from 8 a.m. It's going to be down by the beach by Peg Lakes, the pool area. And the idea is it's going to be about a 10-minute event. And I want to, I've been talking with the Mako Swim Club. They're doing great things. And, obviously at the track and field, there's a lot of kids. The idea is a 75-meter swim, 2K bike, and a 500-meter run. More or less every kid could try their hand at that, but the idea would be if there's someone who's really keen on swimming or the biking aspect or the running aspect.
So they're allowed to...
One person could do all three.
You can have additional persons doing the different events.
Yeah, what I'm going to try and do is, this will be the first of a series, and it's to develop. So right now there's a lot of individuals doing a lot of different things. The idea will be to try and get for example, the Mako swim team, hopefully they're around on the 25th.
Sure.
Rather than going to the pool, let's have them down there. Just they can show their skill and speed in the water, come out and tag some kids that we have ready to go on the bikes, and then the run, and then mix, because it's so short. I'm hoping that some of the swimmers might try their hand at the run or vice versa. As generally in the BVI is the biggest hole, if you will, in all three of those events is the swimming.
The swimming,
Right.
okay.
And that's changing. And then cycling it's tough because you have to own the equipment. That's where my program, I mean, I've got 20 BMX bikes and a lot of equipment.
Let me ask you, is it open to all ages? Or?
This will be targeting 13 years old and between 8 and 13, but any age. I'm not going to turn a 15-year-old kid who shows up there away.
So it's basically like a jump start type of thing.
Yeah, we got to start somewhere.
Yeah, I think I might be able to help you in the area there because I met somebody who's interested in something like that.
Yeah.
So I might be. I guess after the show we sit down.
Yeah, we can. That's what I'm trying to do is
Chris,
get those ideas out there.
Sorry, the triathlon it's huge when you look on the international scene. It's huge. What is the potential of us getting some of those youngsters who are starting there and taking them all the way and having them compete for the BVI in a triathlon? Is that something you thought about?
It's a wide open door. I mean, I've a guy named Reggie Douglas from Nevis who does triathlons. I've worked with him on, trying to help him out with what he should do, and I don't want to say coach because it's just here and there. I have given him advice, and I actually did go to spend some time in Nevis with him, and he qualified for the Pan Am Games, and he was fairly new to the sport, and in the Caribbean, it's still a very wide open door for any athlete, be it swimming, triathloning, or even cycling. Cycling is very funny because it's kind of an open door to get to a certain level, but these days to qualify for the Olympics, you have to more or less be a professional bike racer. It's gotten so competitive.
But Paul, I can tell you, right? I can say because Chris is saying, I think they did something in an event that earlier back in the days where I think it was something with the corporations, and I tried my hand at cycling, and I was really out of shape then, and those guys made me ride.
Battle of the corporations you're referring to.
I think I made me ride from somewhere in Hawkwood Pond down to West End.
Yeah.
And I told you, as soon as I got to West End, I was trying to be competitive now. As soon as I got to West End, I got off the bike. That was the last thing I remember.
Is that so?
Oh man, I was blacked out.
Wow.
but trying to stay competitive again, us.
It was a mess. Can go beyond your ability. You can go beyond your ability to stand on a bike.
Yeah.
Whereas running, you do have to lift that foot to go forward some more. Whereas in cycling, you are in effect sitting. You can. I've tried to hang on to the point where you cut across the finish line and you just can't even get off the bike.
I remember my first race with Chris too. I think it was the first BVI around the island. Tour de Tortola.
That was there were 54 riders on that.
I got I think I was in the top 5 in that event.
You were in the top 5.
Wow, and that was my first. That was my first time riding. But I mean, he got me involved, and I was
Online question here for you, Chris. It's more general. It says, what is happening with the sport program in the schools? Seems to be they use the word cowboy. Seems to be, I guess they mean unstructured. Seems to be, as far as the schools. Are you in the schools?
I think he used to do the schools before.
Are you doing the schools? What is
I mean, the Bsafe program, I'm not sure they would be talking. I'm pretty structured. It's an after-school program. I did this year in the beginning of September to just keep trying to get something. I was bringing kids in during lunch period because that was really I've started doing some paid programs just to try and pay the bills. But in terms of my program, it's very structured. You sign up, you have to get consent form. This year I'm not going to be able to provide.
What I think they were talking about, because remember in the beginning when we used to bus the kids in from different schools and you had your program going on, I think that's basically what they're trying to address.
But
you did mention that you're dealing with Alta Scatliff right now.
Yeah, and the thing, what happened is because of funding, I wasn't able to get to any. I managed to complete Althea Scatliff last year, but then I just had to kind of cut my losses and say I couldn't go and bus in kids from other schools. But the structure, what I'm trying to do is like Ogier, another one of my sponsors, is has adopted Joyce Samuel Primary School. So I'm going to go up there and do a day with them on the weekend, and then hopefully be able to talk to the principal and organize their school to after Althea Scatliff. So
another text coming in for you, Chris. It says we need something for the 16-year-olds.
Yeah.
I want to do the triathlon, but my friends don't even know what it is.
Right.
Get the school kids in, please get the school kids in. Chris, it's this guy's crying out. He's
I'll
crying
look
out.
directly at the camera. You will hopefully. Paul or Dub can give out my details in print, but you should just contact me if it's to do with Bsafe program or cycling, swimming even, or running.
What
you can contact 542 1981
1981
and Chris CHRIS at Bsafe
.vg.
And I would be more than happy. There's an adult triathlon coming up on the 11th. And if the young 16-year-old wants to do the whole thing or part, I could find a swimmer or wherever they're missing, and if they don't have a bike, they just. I'm trying to make myself available.
What I would like for you to do, Chris, is explain the distances, so they understand what it's all about. Because I think. The triathlon, I think, is probably new to a lot of people locally.
Yeah.
So just explain how much you have to swim, how much you have to run. How much
I mean, without, the basic format now for the Olympic distance, which you're going to see on the Olympics, it's different to the Hawaii Ironman, but it kind of developed out of that. Essentially, it's a 1,500 meter swim, a 40K bike, and a 10K run. So 1.5K in the water. If you think in miles, it's about a half-mile swim, 25-mile bike, and a 6-mile run.
That's what I was
more or less.
Yeah.
And sorry, in cycling terms, I always think in kilometers.
Sure. Yes.
For example, the youth development one, what I wanted to do is do a 20th of the Olympic distance. So I just took, because that's the kind of format that works. It's swimming is very, very daunting. Although now the truly the Olympic distance triathlon, if you watch it, it's like it's a running race with swimming and biking beforehand, because those guys are so fast. They could almost swim for the Olympic team. They could almost bike for the Olympic team, and then they are running 31, 32s, 33s for 10K. I mean, that's
the last time I saw
it fairly fast, even on the track.
I think I was watching on Discovery one time when they were doing the whole thing, and there were so many swimmers. They looked like the penguins that were flying. When they look at it from underwater, it looked like penguins, and people were just. I mean, even the handicaps were coming out of the water. It's really exciting.
Okay, we're gonna pause for a course to thank our sponsors. Carl, you always do so well with the sponsors.
Rotan Wholesale and Gatorade. Thank you guys for giving us Play to Win, and of course main Bigger Better Network sponsor.
So we're gonna take a pause for a cause. I'm pouring the ball along with Carl Scatliff. Our guest this evening, our second set of guests, is Chris Giorgi. Bsafe, the 24-hour Bsafe guy that rode for 24 hours. Stick and stay. We'll be right back.
Effort is the greatest adversary of all. Some people confront it to become champions. Some to lose weight. Some to go down in history. Some to make their mothers proud. Some to feel part of something. Whatever medal you're striving to win, effort will always be the main adversary to beat. New Formula Gatorade, with no artificial colorings and sweeteners, helps you overcome effort. Gatorade works naturally.
Gatorade is distributed in the BVI by Road Town Wholesale.
Hi, Hi, I am Tanisha Harrigan Scott, and I am here to bring you some exciting news from Digicel. Now you can talk more and text more for only $15. A great new price plan from Digicel, the bigger, better network. Have you heard? When you top up $15 or more, you get incredible deals with Digicel. Get 100 free minutes, unlimited SMS, and free weekends for 7 days to local Digicel numbers. Top up $15 again, and it will automatically be extended for another 7 days. For more information, drop by our store or visit our website at www.digicelbbi.com. Digicel terms and conditions apply.
For all your health, fitness, sports, and related apparel needs, visit Play to Win Sports Store on the 3rd floor of the Chevelle building right across from the Sunday Morning Well. We specialize in basketball, baseball, and softball, volleyball, soccer, track and field, sport fitness supplements, shoes, underwear by Fruit of the Loom, Hanes, t-shirts, and much more. Call us Monday to Saturday, 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 494-2071 for your special orders on uniforms and equipment. And join us as we play to win, to win, to win, to win.
And welcome back to Sports Desk. I'm Paul on the ball, along with the main man, Carl Scatliff. I've stolen his seat. And in case you wanted to know why Carl and I run so fast, now you know. Now you know. Gatorade. Yeah? So you know the secret. Listen, we want to offer a little challenge this evening for you. The Super Bowl is coming up this coming Sunday. You know, Super Bowl is always played on a Sunday. There are 2 teams playing. I want you to tell us who you think is going to win.
And the score.
And the score. You can send a text us in. We're online, answer us online. So tell us who is going to win and the score, and you can win yourself either for compliments of Rotown Wholesale, either a case of Gatorade or a case of Heineken, whichever one you prefer. Case of Gatorade or a case of Heineken. Tell us who's going to win the Super Bowl on Sunday and watch the score. The closest person has the option of getting a case of Gatorade or a case of Heineken. And Carl, if you win, you can have both.
Well, I'm the one giving them out anyway.
Listen up.
Before we go, Chris, who do you think you're going to win?
I have to say the Patriots because it's where my family's from. So, you know, being a Red Sox fan, Patriots, Bruins,
What do you think the score is going to be like?
You know, I work with a lot of kids, and there was a lot of discussion today, and I was very disappointed. And I only watch once they reach to what they did last 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago, yeah.
And I know what I've seen and heard, and they didn't really deserve to be there. So I think it could be like 3-point difference, or if Brady puts it all together, I would be like one of his fans and say it could be a blowout.
Paul, what's your take?
You know, I got to go for the Giants. I'm a Giants guy. I've always liked to see the Giants play. You know, close to the home as possible. You want to go for the Giants too, right?
You know, we have to be going opposite, Paul. We can't be going the same.
I'm right between you guys right here. So
I still have to go for the Giants. This is the tiebreaker.
I'll stick my neck out.
Okay.
We have an online question. I think it's kind of similar to what they asked before, but they're saying, since you're so passionate about sports or your sport, why not develop a curriculum program that can be implemented in the schools through PE teachers, either as an after-school program or scheduled PE class?
Well, that's whoever texts that in. I have been Dr. Penn, who's been interested in changing the curriculum, really believes in sport in general, and you know, he and I have talked about getting kids in from kindergarten, learning how to, like my daughter's not even 2 and she knows to put on her helmet when she goes helmy, and she gets on, and I know that means she wants to ride a bike, and she does that with no coaching now. So if we can make those things instinct, and I would like nothing more, because I could work on more on racing in an after school. Like right now, what Solo's doing, he's all over the place because he's got into the school system. Correct. It's a little different with what I'm trying to do because I need the space. I would love to see a facility, or there's a lot of different things. We don't have the time to cover. Maybe sure. I can come on the show again, but I'm inviting myself. Look at that. But
you can say whatever you want.
We're the Giants.
Still alive.
We're the winners.
But I really do feel that having something like cycling in the schools would open the doors, providing, every school could have 10 bikes pretty easily. I would love to get the PE teachers. I have actually proposed that to Principal Headley of doing an experiment with Althea Scatliffe, but there's always issues about how it could really work.
And something to that effect, Paul. I think yes, manpower is one of something that I think we lack in a lot in the different areas. So like Chris, he's all around the place. I mean. And he can
I have two buses, and I am only one person.
There you go. So Carl, you could drive one of those buses.
I can't ask him to do it for free. He did already.
Don't answer that. That's a fastball.
But that question that was actually online. jtvlive.net. You can log in and chat with us. We have a virtual room in there just created just for you guys. So if you're in the States or if you're in England or wherever you are, log in and get involved and chat with us.
I notice you're taking away all landlines now.
No. The landlines are actually on the screen.
Okay, good. Now, Chris, I see you got some information right here.
Yeah, I mean, just I had to write all the dates because I am doing quite a few things, but I really like that question about the getting it into schools with the PE teachers. Suddenly, you have people who are sport oriented that are being paid to do their job, and they would like nothing better than 6 weeks of cycling or rugby or whatever. And Solo, that's probably what he's doing with the various
Let me just shed this light to you.
Sure.
Our sports division, Department of Youth and Affairs and Sports. Have you ever had the opportunity to go and speak with Mr. Harrigan?
We've had conversations, and again, it's always funding and finances. They have a limited budget. They have certain criteria that they've put forth, and it's still something I'm trying to figure out how to not drag finances out of youth affairs and sports. I now have the infrastructure, so I could probably revisit that idea, but it does get tricky because the BVI is not a cycling friendly in terms of land where we can.
Sure.
If I were in the States or somewhere else, which I don't have any desire to be, I want to be here. But I could take the bus I have and I would drive to a remote location. I would have these kids on the road and doing things where there's no cars, and it would be great, and it would take me a lot less time because I spend an hour to an hour and a half setting up all my little gizmos on this field, and then I have to break it down, and every day, and I'm kind of like a circus.
Just let the general public know where you're located, also where you do.
Well, I mean, I am like a circus.
Yeah, I know you used to be out on the festival ground.
Yeah, that's where, because I've been doing things on various small locations, but now I'm going back onto the festival grounds with Althea Scatliffe. That is the primarily the best area that's safe, flat. I can do I have all sorts of bits of woods and cones to simulate things and challenges that would challenges the young rider to stop and think a little bit. So you'll start seeing me back out there again, and we just lack secondary roads. We only have really primary roads.
Let me ask you, talking about cycling, I see a lot of people on the road when there's competition time coming. Is it one of is the BVI one of the best places to train for races and stuff like that because of?
Really what I want to do is get kids or any level interested and provide them with an ability to do a certain level here, and then to excel in cycling you will have to go somewhere else. And it's really, I did okay in and around the Caribbean, even though I had retired at 92 to come down here and live. But that's because I had a lot of experience riding with 250 guys trying to fit down a road that's like a car and a half wide in Europe. you just can't get that simulation you can in Guadeloupe to a degree, but really, or Dominican Republic, but really to start your journey down the road of a real cycling, real competition, you need to develop a certain level here, and then the stepping stone would be, say, Puerto Rico, then maybe the mainland U.S., then maybe over to Europe. There's a lot of stepping stones.
No, your program is basically like a starter program.
Yeah, it's really just to get kids excited about cycling and aware.
And we've had Jim Coleman, who's been on our show before. He's competition.
Mountain biking, a club. It's a club that's governed by the Cycling Federation, and any club can put on should put on races, or you can have a touring club. Right. Do you want to just go ride around? What I really wanted to ask you is
how do your kids transition out of your era into something like what he's doing, or even to the Cycling Federation?
Yeah, that is the stepping stone. I have. I have mountain bikes where this year the first mountain bike race is on the 4th of March, and one of my sponsors, PricewaterhouseCoopers, is going to help me get a few of the older kids, so that if that 16-year-old was contacting me about triathlon, is interested in cycling, I'd have 11 mountain bikes that I can use right now that I had bought to do a second level, which would have been in the high school. But I can't do two things at once, and I don't have the funding to pay someone to do this, and it's just the usual stories.
Let me just very quickly again give for that youngster, any of the youngsters who are listening, Chris Yossi's phone number is 542-1981. That's 1981. That was the year Carl was born. 542-1981, or you can email him at Chris, CHRIS, at Bsafe, that's B, the letter B, SAFE.VG. And for the rest of you who are listening, we are still waiting. We're offering, and we can't offer it next week. It's got to be this week. So between now and the weekend, let us know who is going to win the Super Bowl. Who is going to win the Super Bowl? Is it going to be the Patriots or the Giants? And what the winner is going to get either a case of Heineken or a case of Gatorade from our sponsors, Roton Wholesale. Isn't that awesome?
Is that awesome?
Very good. Very good.
Back to you, Carl.
Back to Chris.
Back to me. Around and around. Well, and I appreciate, again, you guys let me go on and on about all the various things I've been doing. So primarily I'm known as a cyclist, and from that I've got involved in a lot of sports. And this year I've the Cats, something that I've been involved in for 19 years. That's the Kids in the Sea program, which is very well known in the BVI. I'm now given the title of Chief Coordinator. What that means is I'm trying to help all the programs, and they do a lot of things. They do swimming, from learn to swim to a level where they should be proficient to be able to save themselves in the water, and I would like to then help them get into Makos if they have a competitive streak. And that will be starting in May. And the primary reason that starts down in Nanny Key. Annie Gardner's the director. It's mostly to do with water temperature. It's very hard to learn how to swim when the water's a little cold. So you want to encourage.
I think I have to get in touch with Ellsworth and his wife about the.
You should definitely get the Makos.
I was actually trying to get a hold of him before, so I think I'm gonna have to work.
No, because they're putting in a lot of good efforts and getting results, and that's where you have to start. You start at the OECS
level.
I have
a niece I think that's involved in swimming too. She's pretty good.
And then the basic program, which is how Cats really evolved from my Bsafe, that original bit for Cats is called the basic program. That's going to start. They're going to have sign up on April 14th at the college, and that teaches you skills, safety skills.
Is that all ages also?
That's usually, the swimming is young ones up. I don't think they cut anybody off. The basic program is usually targeting 7 to 9-year-olds on average. And although I've been involved for 19 years, I've never really been involved in all the details, so I'm still learning on that. And right now the sailing program's going on, and what I'm really trying to work with the BVI Yacht Club to try and get CATS kids on. We CATS owns 2 IC24s, which is the biggest event. You hopefully guys have heard of the Premier Cup in July 13th, 15th this year. I'm coordinating all of that, and really, we've never had our kids get on the IC before the event. They've always got on the IC for like nearly the first time. And so what we're trying to do is, I've just been talking to the director of youth development for the yacht club, is that they have a young Antiguan who's an instructor. He would like to get a team that can be competitive. So CATS is about introducing kids to sea and safety. We're going to, from the 2nd of March on Fridays, we're going to offer if you've been through the CATS program, so I'll say that to the general public, if you're between the age of 13 and 17, and there will be kids who have been through the CATS program, you don't really need to have any sailing experience, but we'd like to see you come down, and I'm pushing to try and get it going on the 2nd of March. It kind of involves the yacht club, so this is all just basically happened the last couple of days.
No, Paul, if you notice what's really going on for the amount of people that we spoke to, everybody's trying to work with the youths. So it's basically trying to, the youths can't say they don't have any place to go or anything to do, because there's always an activity or sport that is out there trying to assist. Like we just had the rugby on. We spoke to the guys before last week and the weeks before. Everybody's trying to do something for the youths. And like Chris is saying now, he's working with Bsafe. He's also working with a mountain bike club. And he has CATS. So
we have a caller coming in there, Carl. Let's take the caller. Good evening, Sports Desk. Go right ahead, please.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yes, I want to comment you gentlemen. All of this is great, but I just have one question. Are there any considerations of extending these programs to the community of Virgin Gorda? There are lots of youths there too, who may just be interested.
I'm glad that you mentioned that. We'll address that in a moment.
Any other questions?
And speak about the age group too. Maybe I missed that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Good. We always seem to kind of forget Virgin Gorda in the middle of it, don't we?
Maybe in talking, but not in spirit.
Tell us a bit about Virgin Gorda. What's the deal over
actually,
there?
have you done anything in Virgin Gorda with the BSAFE program?
Not with the BSAFE program. I've been to Yoast a couple times because the Rotaract Club has helped me get over there. The thing I would say if the gentleman is on Virgin Gorda, or all Virgin Gordians that are listening, or any Guardians, this year with my equipment and my sponsor, I will be able to get some kids in that. If there are children on those islands when the mountain bike club is coming, they should contact me as well, because then I will make sure I bring an extra bike, because I do. But I only have 11 bikes, and I would love to see 11 kids on.
Right.
But
I guess we're kind of thinking the same thing. I'm thinking, what do they do then? If somebody wants to, if you have 11 kids right now in Virgin Gorda waiting to get going, what happens? What does Chris Giossi do?
I'd split myself in two. I've been in contact with a few people over there, but it always boils down to infrastructure. I mean, you have a track here, and once the track is built, anybody can go to that track at the moment, although that's something that the national team, but right now we have a track, we can go to it. People don't realize that costs millions of dollars to build. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't want to get. No. Behave yourself. I'm gonna get in trouble here.
Don't call in. 300-1949. Don't call in. You can text on that. Text.
Is that smoke coming out of the phone there? No. I guess what I'm trying to say is, like, cycling. It's if I were to talk about running or football, if you have the field, it doesn't really cost the individuals anything to go there. Whereas to ride a bike, do you have a bike?
I do, yes.
Okay, great. Well,
a mountain bike.
Do you still have one, Dub?
I spin.
Okay, actually, you got, how many bikes do you have? You have 20 bikes,
just about 20.
I have two.
Yeah, so, not to get, sorry, got loud there because I got excited about cycling, but to get my equipment over the Virgin Gorda, I would have to get on the raft. That would be the cheapest way to get on a barge. It just, if I could get 20 bikes over there and put them in a container or give someone the knowledge, I mean, I would love to see things develop.
But let me ask you,
so it's very hard. It's things I've been playing with.
This is a question that always been asked about. When we develop a lot of stuff in the British Virgin Islands, we pick national teams, we tend to forget the other islands.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest with you, there's a lot of talent coming out of Virgin Gorda.
Yeah.
And every sport, Paul, there's a lot of talent.
Right.
I mean, we've tried to develop it in the basketball area. And so far we had, 2 guys out of our program that has gone off to school.
Well, I mean, what you guys are managing over in Virgin Gorda, basketball is great.
Let me just jump in here and say, Carl, what I'm going to ask you to do, Chris, is to probably take that question from Carl and then do a wrap up because we're on the timing of the clock.
That's true. So you can always come back.
Well, we'd love to have you back again on the 2nd of March.
Well, I would just say that the desire to get to the sister islands is very strong because I actually the first year I tried to put in proposals targeting businesses like over on Virgin Gorda to say, okay, it's going to cost me kind of this much to get all my equipment over there. So how I got to Yoast a couple of times I've been over there is that the Rotaract Club took all their sweat equity and volunteerism to we unloaded my van onto I forget his name, his ferry.
Okay.
Yeah, no, onto a ferry, and he waived all the costs, and we got over there, and I worked with the kids for a day. And then one time I actually went over they were donated some bikes, and they were kind of falling apart. So I worked on all of them at the public school there, and tried to get them going to the best of my ability, given the limited resources I had brought with me, and gave them a little. How do you use? They were mountain bikes, so there's a bit of learning how to shift and all that. So there is the desire there, but what I've read and seen online about getting over there with the hoop it up and the basketball going on, that's great because that is what should happen. But I will say, having worked with an Invasion, Nevis gets oftentimes, he had trouble achieving what he did. Because the bigger island, I mean, it's just hard to separate.
We always soak up everything.
Well, I mean, it's just hard to get over.
Any final words, Chris?
Thank you for listening to my going on and on. Just please call me or email me anybody that might have questions on follow-up, and I'll let you do it, Paul.
Sure, we'll do that. The numbers to call is 542-1981, 542-1981, or you can email him at Chris, CHRIS, at Bsafe, that's BSAFE.VG. And that's not for Virgin Gorda, is it?
I always thought it did. I was like, wow, who got that one? Because that was pretty good.
Mr. Scatley, any final word?
Of course, yes. Like I said, there's always somebody in the community who wants to help the youths, and if the youths if they're out there listening or they're watching, I mean, don't think that we're forgetting you. I mean, sometimes we do forget the sister islands, and I'm one of them to be blamed for not acknowledging that. But we would like to assist in the sister islands if there's anybody that's interested over there in assisting, even all the different sports that you see come through on the sports desk. Give us a call. You can call me, you can call Paul, or you can call any of the numbers that you see come up on the screen for these folks, and try to get your kids involved. This is the only way we can keep them off the street and keep them focused.
Yeah, I just want to reiterate that, it's all about getting the youngsters off the street and keeping them away from crime. This is what this is all about. Trust me, that's the bottom line. Keep the kids off the streets. I want to thank all the people that were online on jtvlive.net, and it's getting bigger and bigger, so soon we're going to have a special group just answering questions online. It's getting crazy in there. All those people who sent texts, quite a few texts came in tonight, and of course those people who called, thank you very much. We really appreciated that. You're the guys that make the show. The show is all about whatever you do, so appreciate that. I want to say a special big up to a guy who I've known since I've been about 5 years old, John Shirley. John, appreciate it. A lot of guys on the road just stop and say, listen, I really appreciate it. Both Carl and I have had that, so we appreciate you showing your appreciation. Carl,
just one more plug too. For the Spanish community, because I've had some Spanish folks approach me and they said, they like the show, but we needed to translate it in Spanish. Hopefully, like Paul said, we'd get to that status, and then we can have somebody translating for you guys. guys. But if you guys have any sports that you want to get involved in, feel free to contact us. We'd like to have you on the show. And of course, this is your show, and this is what we're here for.
So thank you to the Rugby Football Union. Of course, they're off to Puerto Rico this weekend, and then in March, 2 big events happening here. So we keep you up to date with that. And of course, to Chris Giorgi here, who's got his Bsafe. He's focusing on the triathlon, and of course, he has cats, and they start on the 2nd of March. So until next time, good sports in you. Thanks for listening.